Got a cup of green tea on the go here. Very nice. And it's time for some Nintendo 64 action, so I'm going to put in Ridge Racer 64, one of my favourite game series of kind of all time, and we'll have a look. I've previously played this game before, so the initial verdict of it was it's not bad, but it's definitely not my favourite Ridge Racer game. Bit of a novelty to have it on a Nintendo system. So if we skip all the gubbins. Alright. So as you can see, it kind of takes the style of Ridge Racer 4, but if you actually play the game, oh, it's just chucked me in here. As you can see here, we've kind of got the style of the first Ridge Racer game. This track would have been obviously in Ridge Racer 4, I believe. I did have that game on the PlayStation, I just can't really remember the exact details. Actually, this isn't a Ridge Racer, or is it a... I can't remember whether this is a Ridge Racer Revolution track or not. I don't know, who cares. But yeah, basically this game for me sits kind of somewhere between Ridge Racer Revolution and Ridge Racer 4. Obviously Ridge Racer 3 would have been Rage Racer, but I mean obviously that is a title in the Ridge Racer series, but for me I think it kind of disassociates itself from the franchise in some way, kind of in its gritty style rather than the colourful and bold skylines and passovers and I don't know what you call them, just general scenery. I think the music kind of sits somewhere in the middle as well. It's not full on cheesy like in the first two Ridge Racer games, but yeah, not quite as sophisticated as Ridge Racer 4, I don't believe. So in third place, as you can see, if you know how to play Ridge Racer, you know how to play this game. It does have handling that for me is more reminiscent of the first couple of Ridge Racer games rather than Ridge Racer 4. Struggling for things to say really. I mean, graphics are bold and smoothish, not 100% stable frame rates, but near enough. No fog, which is always a bonus with Nintendo 64 games because the developers like their fog effects on the system, which kind of irritates me. No problems with draw distance or anything like that. Nintendo 64 is a very capable machine at playing Ridge Racer. So we've got the old replay at the end of the race, but we'll skip that. I am the champion. So we'll retire from that and jump into Grand Prix, and we've got some courses we can change. So we've got Ridge Racer Novice, Revolution Novice and Renegade Novice. I assume that the Renegade tracks are new tracks for the game and for the Nintendo 64 game, and the other two tracks obviously are from the original Ridge Racer games.
Alright, this is gonna be a great race. 3 laps to go.
Interestingly, whilst I don't believe Rage Racer was ever an actual arcade game, obviously it wouldn't be the same if it was, because you know, you couldn't have all those car tuning and customization options in an arcade game, so it would have been slightly different anyway. But there was a Rave Racer which was never ported to the home consoles in its Rave Racer guise. If you're a fan of simulation racing games, and you know everything has to be realistic for you, then you won't like Ridge Racer, because it's over the top, ridiculous stuff. But it's one of the reasons why I like it. I like being able to just go around corners at full speed and drift around them, go a bit crazy. This game still has the over-enthusiastic commentator, announcer guy, whatever you want to call him. Definitely recommend this game to fans of the series. It's definitely a game that you need in your collection if you're a Ridge Racer fan. But like I say, if you're into simulation games, you won't like this one. You should like it, you should buy it, and it should convert you to the ways of Ridge Racer, but I doubt it will. As with most Ridge Racer games, the collision detection is a bit iffy, but you know, the idea is that you're not going to be anywhere near the barriers or the opposition cars, so you should be in the middle of the road drifting like a maniac. You've got the time counting down in the top left corner of the screen, but I always thought that was a bit pointless in the console versions of the Ridge Racer games, because you never run out of time. There's tons of time to get through the race, no matter how crap you are, unless you're trying to drive the course backwards or something, and then obviously you will run out of time. So that's just a quick look at Ridge Racer 64. Definitely worth picking up if you are a Ridge Racer fan. Won't be a cup of tea if you're into your simulation racing games, but for me it's one of the better racing games I've played on the Nintendo 64. It's a bit of a genre that's kind of lacking. I know you got Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing. I've never played Diddy Kong Racing. I've played Mario Kart, but to me they're not really racing games. They're kind of their own little genre. So this is one of the better racing games I've played on the Nintendo 64, and in my opinion definitely worth checking out.